It's not often that you start a video on YouTube sitting on the toilet, but that's exactly what today's video is all about. It's an install video of the Toto C100. For a full review of all the features and functions of this toilet seat, head on over to my wife's channel and I'll link that in the description. But for now, sit back, relax, and I'll walk you through everything you need to know to get this bad boy installed in your bathroom. Firstly, we'll note there's only 3 things that come in the box itself, and these are all the things that you need to do the installation. The only things that you need to provide yourself is a standard screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, and some sort of bucket, bowl or saucepan to catch the water in. Now, as you can see, I've already removed the standard toilet seat. If you don't know how to do that, it's pretty simple. You just lift up the flaps behind and there's a screw under here that you'll just undo on each side and it comes right off. One thing that's important to note when purchasing your toilet seat is the shape of your toilet bowl. If you have an elongated standard toilet like us, you're going to want to purchase the elongated model. If you've got one of the more old-fashioned round toilets, then you're obviously going to want to purchase the round toilet seat. Now let's get into the install. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to switch off the water supply, and you can do that right here. Once you've done that, step number 2 is to flush the toilet to get any remaining water out of the tank. And you'll hear that it's not filling back up again because we've already turned off the water supply. Next is the part that gets a little more fiddly, but I promise you it's a super simple installation. You can see that I've already positioned the bowl to catch any excess water underneath, and all we're going to do is unscrew the water pipe from the toilet itself, making sure that you've turned the water off, and there's just going to be a little left in the hose that's going to drain out into the bowl. The next thing to install is this piece that comes with your toilet seat, and you're going to install this by twisting it to the underside of the toilet, and this piece is going to face outwards away from the toilet at a 90 degrees angle. I'm just twisting this piece on now. Some people, they advise to use plumbing tape, but Toto says that it's not necessary, and since we've installed ours, we didn't use plumbing tape and we've not had any leaks. Likewise, you're going to want to take the water supply hose and put it into the bottom of the attachment and just screw that on as well. You'll want to make sure that you haven't lost any rubber washers or anything like that in the bowl accidentally. Make sure that they're in when you're screwing it back on, which negates the need for plumbing tape supposedly. Now they're both attached, just twist tight. I've not used a spanner or anything like that to tighten them. Don't turn the water supply on just yet. We're going to move to the next step, which is installing the seat itself. For the next step, you're going to take this piece that was supplied with the toilet seat and your Phillips screwdriver. These 2 rubber pieces will slot through the holes right here on your toilet. So in order to get that more smooth, I recommend adding a bit of water to each rubber piece so it slides right through. When you're installing this part, you're going to want to pay close attention to where these metal parts are. This is the front, so it's going to want to be on the front part. It also says front and back right here, so if you miss these, you know, you should be able to read the way around it goes, and you're just going to want to slide these straight through. Have to apply a bit of pressure. Now the actual screws here are actually on a track, so you can move them forwards or backwards depending on how you would like to position your toilet seat. We had ours positioned right around the middle, so we're going to go ahead and do that again. and you just tighten each screw up. Now that both screws are nice and tight, we're going to go ahead and install the actual toilet seat itself. Now if I just show you the back side of the toilet seat, you'll notice these two grooves here, and what we're going to want to do is try and line them up to the thing that we've just installed on the toilet. And the way that you'll know that it's been installed correctly is you'll hear a click and it will slide on very smoothly. So there we go. See, it took me wiggling it around a little bit and then it just slid straight down there nice and smooth. You can check that the washlet is secure just by wiggling it around and make sure that it doesn't come off. You can also lift the seat up and check that it's aligned with the toilet as you'd want. If it's not aligned, this is a good opportunity to remove the toilet seat and reposition the piece on the back either further forwards or backwards depending on your preference. And the way that you take the toilet seat off, on the side here there's a small button, and you just press the button in and it releases the toilet seat to slide right off again. We are almost done with the install, and the final part is a little difficult to see, but it's super simple. We have the electrical outlet here, and we also have the water supply line for the seat itself, which is going to slot into that 90-degree angle piece that we had before. So I'm just screwing that piece into the 90-degree angle part now so that it's twist tight. Now at this point I'd recommend doing one final check of all the water lines just to make sure that they're tightened correctly. And then once you're confident that everything's tightened up, you can go ahead and turn the water supply line back on. I keep my my pot just underneath there, just in case there's any mishaps. And then if I can see that there's no leakages or drips, then I go ahead and remove it. Okay, everything looks good back there, and you can hear the tank is refilling again. So we're going to move on to the final part of the installation, which is getting it hooked up to an electricity supply. Now my wife and I, we lived in Japan for 2 years, where Toto is from, hence why we ended up getting a Toto WASHLET. This model itself is by far and away the most common that we saw in Japan. The one issue that we run into in America is, number one, we live in an apartment, so it's not like we can position the outlets ourselves. And number two, in Japan, they usually have an outlet readily available right next to the toilet, so you can plug your washlet in. Obviously in America that's not the case. Usually the outlets in the bathroom are beside the sink to plug your shaver into. So because we're in an apartment, we've had to make some adaptations, which isn't necessarily ideal, but we're doing our best for now until potentially we get our own place one day in the future. As I said before, this is the typical position of an outlet in American bathrooms, right next to the sink. So what I went ahead and did is bought a extension cable of around 6 feet and wired it from here flat to the wall, not so that it's coming out, all the way around the sink and down beside the toilet, and I just used command hooks to keep it close to the wall. Finally, now that I'm happy that everything is okay, there's no water leaks, all the electricity's been wired around okay, I can plug the Toto in and you'll hear it starting up. One last thing I wanted to point out about the seat itself, because I read on one of the Amazon reviews it was complaining about these pads being uneven, but what you'll actually see is that they're intentionally designed like that, geniusly in my opinion, so that when you sit on the toilet seat, it detects that you're on the toilet seat so that it turns on and functions. That's all from me. I'll drop a link down in the description for the toilet seat itself, the extension cable and the command hooks. I'll also drop a link to my wife's channel so you can check out all the fun facts and features about this toilet seat and why we went for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.